You all pretty this morning. All my little children is pretty this morning. Some of you adults is all right.
She wanted to be on the front row.
She wanted to be on the front row? She left Mama to be on the front row? Cool. Thank you for being on the front row. And looking pretty. And staring at my stove. It says love all.
Love all?
Love all.
All of us?
Yeah, everybody. Gotta love everybody. You don't get to pick and choose. Gotta love everybody. It's a hard job sometimes. That's not the sermon today, but still, it's a hard job sometimes. So, remember when we were with Moses? We learned a whole bunch of cool things about how God uses ordinary people to do crazy, extraordinary things. So we're joining up with Moses again today. But before we get there, let's do this fun little thing. I promise it's fun. It's not going to hurt. How many of you like it when people complain to you? Nobody's hands went up. Okay. How many people get upset when people complain to you? Some of y'all lying, but that's okay. Keep your hands up. Keep your hands up. Now, how many of you have complained? Don't like it, the other hand up too? Get the other hand up too. Okay, so we know we all beautifully human. It's all right. So that's where we meet up with Moses today. He's been with these Israelites for a little while now. Okay? So, Exodus. Chapter 17. Starting with verse 1. Directed by God, the whole company of Israel moved on by stages. They set up camp. There wasn't a drop of water for the people to drink. The people took Moses to task. Give us water to drink. But Moses said, why are you pestering me? Why are you testing God? But the people were thirsty for water there. They complained to Moses, why did you take us from Egypt and drag us out here with our children and our animals to die of thirst? It's a good question. Moses cried out in prayer to God. What can I do with these people? Any minute now, they'll kill me. God said to Moses, go on out ahead of the people, taking with you some of the elders. Take the staff you used to strike the Nile and go. I'm going to be present before you there on the rock at Horeb. You are to strike the rock. Water will gush out of it and people will drink. Moses did what God said, with the elders of Israel right there watching. So we've already proven we don't like it when people complain, but then we too complain. Because that's part of being human. It's part of being constantly trying to better ourselves, constantly trying to move in the right directions. The other interesting thing here is this is the third time that they have come at Moses. First it was, we hungry, what you gonna feed us? And they was all up in arms about it. So Moses cries out to God, and what happens? God shows up. Manna from heaven. Everybody know the story? Who don't know the story? Lord, little bit. Mama, what you doing? Okay, so they was hungry, and there was no food. And Moses prayed to God, and God dropped some bread from heaven every day for the people to pick up and eat. Now does it sound familiar? Good job. So it was, I'm hungry, and here came God showing up with the manna. Then there was another time where they were thirsty. The water where they were was no good. They couldn't drink it. So they're telling Moses, why did you bring us here? Why did you bring us out of Egypt to die? Moses cries out to God. What happens? God shows up. They have drinking water. Now here we are the third time. What we gonna drink, Moses? You brought us out here to die. Twice already you've cried, and what happened? God showed up. But you still gonna cry again anyway? What is that about? Is it a lack of faith? Is it a, I just want to complain? Because, you know, there are some of them kind of people. Let's don't talk about that right now. Is it that? Or are are we having trouble because there's too much changing too fast? See, that's the thing. We read it, at least I read it back in the day when I was a teenager, and I'm like, dang, all them people did was gripe. How did he tolerate them people? I would have, you know what, you figure your own way up out of here, I'm done. But he stayed with them. And he saw it through as far as he could see it through. And I would read it and I would be aggravated to the point of I don't want to even talk about these Israelites anymore. They're on my nerves. But think about it this way. Their whole world had turned upside down. They were in a place where they didn't know what come next. They didn't know how it was going to happen. It was all unstable. Because sometimes when things change, what happens? It gets a little wobbly. We're not sure about it. And the Israelites were in that position. Everything's changing. I don't like it changing. Matter of fact, it sucks. Can you do something about it, Moses? Moses is like, no, I can't do nothing about it, but we can go talk to the promise maker and the promise keeper and see what they can do about it. They were at a place where even though they had been delivered from their oppression, Egypt was home. Egypt is what they knew. In Egypt, they had houses. They knew where their house was. They knew where their friend's house was. They knew when they were going to eat. They knew what they were going to eat. They knew when they were going to go work on the pyramids. They knew when they was going to make the little straw bricks. They knew it all. Out here in the wilderness, we don't know anything. It's messing us up. Because change is a thing that can hurt. It does crazy stuff to your mind and to your heart. You reach a place where you're like, God, what are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going? What is this going to be? What's it going to look like? How are we going to get there? The problem is a lot of people think the more you question, the worse it's going to get. One good lesson you can get from the Israelites. They never stopped asking. Never. They never gave up. They persisted. They were constantly, Moses, well, we could have died back there, dude. What are we going to do? Why'd you bring us here? Some of you are in situations, and every day you're crying out, God, I'm going to need some help. I don't know how I'm going to get through today. I don't know what I'm going to do today. Some of you are in situations where God's already told you, you know what? We're done with that. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to walk this path now. And you're still going, but God, that one was, it was worn out. At least I knew what was going to happen. Over here, I don't know what's going to happen. Why are you trying to make me uncomfortable? And that's the thing about change that sucks. When you start going through changes, you become very uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable figuring out a new way to walk. It's uncomfortable figuring out how to be the person that you know you're supposed to be. It's hard to give up the things that you've held on to so tightly for so long. And when God is standing there going, look, already 3 times I've done this for you. You think you might could have a little bit of faith in me? You think you might could trust me just a wee bit to show up for you? Because that's the great story in Exodus. That's why we repeat it. It's repeated bunches of times in the Bible. They want to talk about it. Why? Because it's a story about God looking at people and going, they're kind of in a mess. They're kind of being hurt and harmed. And we got to get them out of that. And then it's a story of people crying out to God and God showing up. Every week we talk about how that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to show up. We're supposed to be present for one another. We're supposed to love one another. And we're not supposed to go, not you. Her, but not you. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to love everybody. No matter who they are. No matter what color they are. No matter if they're very, very dramatic on the front row. All of that. We love everybody. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to show up. This is a story about God showing up. This is a story about saying, that's not who you are anymore. I've delivered you. Yeah, you delivered me, but I don't know what's happening over here. This sucks. And God's like, what? You got bread, you got water. At night, I burn before you as a fire. In the daylight, I'm with you as a cloud. I'm with you every step you take. What's the problem? Then he tells Moses, go to the rock and hit it. And guess what? I'm going to be there too. God keeps saying, I'm going to show up. I'm going to be there. And Israel keeps going, yeah, but. Now I want you to think about something. When we were going through all of our changes, and we went through a lot of them back to back to back. When we were going through that, what happened? We got uncomfortable. There were tensions. There were some people that complained loudly, and some people that didn't complain. They just said it to one or two people, not to the whole group. But we had that happening. We had the whole, this is uncomfortable, what are we going to do? And we had God saying, I'll show up. I haven't left you. I said I would be there, and I'm going to be there. That's right. And it was rough, right? When we were going through all of our changes, that was hard. It was hard getting through it. It was hard getting through the uncomfortable parts. Because why? Change sucks. Amen. It sucks. It's not fun. It's not fun when you're used to being the party girl going out I'm going to just talk about me. It ain't fun. When you're used to being that girl that gets to go out every night, do what you want to do. You ain't got to answer to nobody, and then you answer to more people than you ever wanted to answer to in your life, and you got to quit doing some of the things you've been doing. Because you know why? Because God said, hey, I got a new plan. Amen. I got a new way, and I'm going to need you to lay that down. That's right. But God, I like holding on to that. I like my fireball. I likes it a lot. Well, girl, I'm going to need you to lay off of it a bit. Okay, I might can do that. But, God, you do know fireball substitutes as mouthwash. I'm just saying. And God was like, yeah, no. But so you get uncomfortable as you try to go through these changes. And the promise is that holy is right there. Holy's right there. All you got to do is go, holy. Today's feeling a little rough. It's feeling a little icky. What are we going to do? How are we going to get there? How do I get to that point that you told me I have to get to? What do I got to do? And maybe you could like pull me a little bit because I'm kind of like tired of it already. And Holy says, I'm going to show up. And that's the greatest takeaway from this story in Exodus. Number one, we cry out and Holy answers. We don't walk alone. Holy's with us every step of the way. Every step they took, Holy was present with them. But remember last week we talked about how you have to have that knowing. You have to have that moment where you look at the situation and go, dang, that's God. Israel had to have that moment. They had to have the moment where they were walking that path and they go, hold it. That's God. God. Dude, I just figured out that fireball back there. That's God. Not the other fireball, y'all. The floating fireball. That's God. I wish God was the one fireball. But God is not. Sorry. But through every step of our changes, God was with us. Amen? Amen. So today is the 49th anniversary of MCC as a denomination. Yeah. 49 years. That's a big deal. That's just a wee bit longer than these Israelites stayed in the wilderness. Just a little bit. They were in the wilderness 40 years. We've been doing this 49. But here's what's happening. There are rumblings. Why'd you bring us out here to die? Why'd we come this path? We could have took the other path. At least we knew how to walk the other path. There's all these things happening. It's because change sucks. But as a denomination, we kind of have to change, don't we? Yes. If we stay the same, what happens? If I didn't make the changes that I felt Holy was asking of me, Lord, I made it sound like there was an option. If I didn't accept the changes that Holy required of me, what would have happened? Would I be standing up here in front of y'all? My vote's no. Because you don't want no girl to drink all night on Saturday to be up here on Sunday. I'm just saying, ain't no telling. I mean, we already have to worry about what's going to come out my mouth now. Could you imagine? I mean, it would just be kind of rough. So MCC is in the same place as the Israelites. All these changes are happening, and the people are like, I'm uncomfortable. I don't like this. How are we going to get to year 50? Well, let's see. When we cried out every year before, did God answer? Yes. Did God show up? Yes. So as a denomination, that's where we're at. Did God show up previously? Yes. Do we trust that God will show up again? Yes. Yeah, you know why? Because guess what? God never left us. That's right. It's us that's making all of the stuff. That's right. It's us that's going, God, I don't want to go that way. Mm-hmm. I want to go this way. Yeah. God, I don't want to give up my stuff. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. I like my way. And it's funny because you look at it and on every level it's all the same. Big denomination, change sucks. And people they're allowed to feel some sort of way, to quote Felice. Remember? She used to always say, I feel some sort of way. Felice, good morning, love you. The denomination level with all this stuff happening that we're not privy to because, hello, it's up there, we're here. If it affects us, it'll get here. It's icky, and they're allowed to feel some sort of way about it. But what else do they have to do? They have to say, you know what? God never left us. We're going to trust God to lead us through this, and we're going to do what we're meant to do. Be the denomination that's constantly standing up, constantly saying, no, you don't get to discriminate against them. No, you don't get to oppress them. God said they're free, so by God, they're free. That's right. You don't get to stand in the way of that. You don't get to say they're less than you. Mm-hmm. That's part of who we are as a denomination. So at the big level, you have it. Then at the church level, change is happening. God, that sucks. But it's the same thing. Has God been with you the whole time? Is God going to keep being with you? Yes. And if we believe these things to be true, what option do we have other than to walk the path we were put upon? Now, some of you, because now we're going to the personal level. Some of you, God said you're free, but you don't want to let go. You don't want to let go of the things that have held you down. You want to keep holding on to them. You like them. You want to play with them and keep them. God's already said you're free. And if God has never left you and has been with you every step of the way, is God still there now? Yes. So all you have to do is the same thing the Israelites did. God, I need you. I need you. I need you, God. I need you. I need you to show up. And God, there are going to be a few days I'm going to need you to show up and show out. I'm going to need you to be mighty. I'm going to need lots. Because God, the things I face, they're uncomfortable and I don't like them. And I don't know any other way to get through them than to trust you to get me there. That's right. MCC, the denomination, could learn a lot from y'all. You guys faced, like 3 or 4 changes back to back. And even when you felt like it was too much, you held on and you cried out, God, I need you. I need you to show me what this is about, and I need you to help me get through it. That's who you are. You're the people that have faced every challenge put in your path and said, God, I believe you. I believe that if you say we're getting through it, we're getting through it. My drama queen got to go to the party. Bye-bye. So what are you facing as individuals? What is it that keeps you where you are? What change is it that sucks so bad that you don't want to let go of it and move right along? Last week I told you, you have to have a knowing like Peter had. It ain't changed this week. The Israelites had to have a knowing. They had to recognize, I am is with us. God is with us. You have to have a knowing, no matter what you're going through. God is with me. Amen. God walks with me. God guides me. God speaks to me. God is real, and God's not going to leave my side. God's not going to abandon me. God's not going to give up on me. God's not going to let me fall into traps. God's not going to let me do bad things. God's not going to let me be a horrible person. God's going to constantly call to me. I'm going to constantly answer. When I need to, I'm going to call to God, and God's going to answer. That's how it works. That's how it works. And that's how people that are oppressed come out of oppression. They call out, God answers. You have to have a knowing. And you have to admit, change sucks, but God, you're with me. And if you bring me to it, you'll bring me through it. And all the people said, Amen.